We will conceptualize an ideal state and judge life in it. The citizens of our ideal state are of gentle character and cultivated intelligence. All cares are taken. Her work has been organized in a superlative manner. Are they happy? They would be if they did not sense a horrible barrenness and emptiness. They have escaped need. They are really without cares and suffering. But for that reason, boredom has taken hold of them. They have paradise on earth, but the air of that paradise is suffocating. Life has always been wretched and miserable, and will always be wretched and miserable.
I am the black pill, destroyer of hope. This has been kind of the only thing that brings me enjoyment anymore. I've been staying at a shelter. I know. Never. And that's what I told myself. I'd never do it. I'd sooner be a bum in the woods. Though when you get an infected blister that kind of takes up the whole front of your foot and you're limping, and the only spot that you found in this anti-homeless town is 45-minute walk away, you make some concessions. And the concession I made was I'm gonna give it a shot. And I'm gonna really immerse myself in the experience that is the shelter. What is it like being homeless in America and having to live in a shelter with people that are drug addicts, with people that are drunkards, with people that are mentally ill, with people that quite literally just are down and out? Maybe the car just broke down, maybe they just lost their job, maybe they just got abandoned by their family. I mean, all manner of circumstances, but they're not coping well, and so they find themselves here. Now, this place also seems to gather a lot of individuals from the mountains, the local surrounding mountains, as it is winter, it is cold, and so the homeless population is a bit greater than what everyone would expect. And so there's close to 100 people in this shelter, sometimes even more than that, every single day, every single meal. The first night, I realized my foot is in a bad way. It's in bad shape, and I cannot keep limping around. I need to get some antibiotics. I need a place where I can just relax. I don't have to continue walking with all my stuff. Maybe I can even put my stuff away somewhere and get this thing healed so I can actually get the freak on out of here. I go to this, they form a line outside this building, and you basically start the process of, what are you going to do? Where are you going to stay? Who are you? All this kind of stuff. I tell them my name, give them my ID. They don't scan it. They just kind of look at it. It's very basic at first. They tell me to go to the bunkhouse. It's 3 floors. Heat rises, stink rises. I'm on the top bunk. The guy below me is moving around as if he's a dog in sleep. You know how dogs are running and going and making all these noises. That's exactly what this guy was doing. And these aren't industrial grade bunk beds by any means. This is flimsy stuff. And so I'm shaking violently. I'm hearing snoring, very loud snoring. I'm hearing people with no headphones on just blasting their voicemail or some video on TikTok. People having phone calls, people taking a shit or taking a shower, people having some kind of mental breakdown, all of it. And I had no earplugs, and so I kind of tried to find like some rhythm or whatever, and ended up eventually getting to sleep. But it wasn't a good sleep by any means, because it's like 95 degrees. It's 30 degrees outside in the dead of night, in the dead of winter in this little town. It's 95 degrees here. It's like a botanical garden, the jungles, and I'm stripped to the undies. Something I didn't want to do in front of these men is, who knows? I don't know them. They don't know me. It's kind of a compromising position. But I did it anyways because I literally was so uncomfortable. So we finally get to sleep. I wake up at like 1:30. My neck is killing me. I just can't get it propped. I'm sweating. It is a rough night, man, to say the least. One of the roughest I've had in a long time. We don't really end up getting back to sleep. And they wake us up at 5:30. Go down to the mess hall. Breakfast is at 6:30. You're expected to kind of help set up tables and chairs. The other place that you can sleep is the chapel, right across the street. And it's also where everyone eats and gathers throughout the day for activities. Go through the day. Me and my bud walk down the local library. It's a 10-minute walk. It's not much. I'm still limping. But the foot has been wrapped. There's antiseptic on it and antibacterial stuff on it. And it's starting to heal and dry out throughout the night. The next night, I vow I'm not going to be staying in that bunkhouse. I mean, it's not only was it just hard to sleep due to the heat, but it smelled and it was too noisy. So we decided to go across the street to the chapel where instead of a bunk, instead of a bed, right, you get a mat, a very thin mat. And you get to lay it across the tile floor and attempt to fall asleep. Well, you've got everyone else in there kind of packed in there like slaves on a boat. Not quite on top of each other, but pretty close. I'm hearing farting throughout the night. I'm hearing coughing as, when you do drugs, your immune system's compromised. So these people are, sick all the time. Maybe they're smoking too much and their throat is compromised. So they got like that whooping cough. And they don't cover their mouth. It's just straight up in the air. I mean, some of these people are literally like curling up like a bug, right? Like a little beetle. As they're coughing so much. You can tell this is a very noisy area. It's trying to be removed, but it's tough. We end up staying in this is now the 4th night we've been here. The foot is almost healed. We did some more walking on it, and unfortunately a smaller blister on the outside of the healed scab, or the healed dry part of the blister formed, so we're gonna have to take it easy again. Really wait until this thing's fully healed. But so it's alright. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not life. It's not living. And I found myself having some pretty passionate conversations with some of the individuals here, as when you're sober, you're clean cut and put together, and you try to keep to yourself, you certainly do attract an audience of some kind. And so I'll entertain the questions. I've always been open, but I'm not a seeker. I don't seek people out. I'm at a point now where I just want to be alone. I want to be alone amidst the crowds. Unlike Robin Williams, who's unsatisfied by that, and he talks about the loneliness of crowds, I find myself fitting in, right? It's a camouflage. It's kind of a smokescreen for me to be in the midst of people. I'm not alone because there's people around me, but I'm also not interacting with anybody. It's kind of like the best of both worlds for myself. But it's very hard. So yeah, these people come up to me, and this one guy in particular has been asking me quite the many questions. He's a bit of a philosophag, He's not an actual philosopher because he has to study philosophy, right? He doesn't read philosophers to try to find someone who can relate to his mindset. No. He has to read and study about philosophy because he wants to understand it. You see, these people are not philosophers. They're pseudo-intellectuals, right? They think themselves smart. They aspire to be a superior and talk with big and lofty words, and have all eyes on them. And that's exactly what this guy does. He talks to everyone, and he wants to be somebody. Yet he's fucking homeless in a shelter. He's a drug addict. And so we'll get into it, and I'll tell him what I believe, and he just can't quite grapple with the fact that I'm so apathetic. I'm very, pessimistic and cynical, and nihilistic to the point of despair, where I tell them that the only hope is outside of this world, that this is a hell realm, that if you're going to get into any kind of religion or spirituality or philosophy, you might as well start thinking of, use it to think about exiting, because this realm is not it. There is no solution. And I start going through history. I start going through all the talking points in this community with him. And he kind of furrows his brow. And he says, yeah. No, I agree with you mostly, but. I'm like, okay, but. I know, butts are for pooping, but okay. And this has now been going on for 3 days, where he continually comes up to me and he's trying to persuade me to think otherwise. He's very negative, like, what about solutions? And I'm just like, today I just had enough. I'm like, dude, this is why philosophy's fucking retarded. Because there is no solution. Okay? You talk. You postulate. Your fucking, brain is percolating all the time, especially since you're smoking weed. And you're constantly, wanting to talk and think and discuss, but you don't write any of this stuff down. You're obviously not very observant, and you don't really care about the annals of history, written or otherwise, because you'd realize, while you think you can come up with a solution, people much smarter and capable and in positions of authority haven't been able to do dick. So stop talking to me. I don't care about your ideas. I don't care about your solutions, right? Most solutions. I don't care about your philosophagging. Go somewhere else with that. And I basically just deconstructed his whole worldview, called him a retard to his face, and let him know that, like, dude, you are excess. You are a subhuman. You are refuse. You are a carbon emitter. You are fucking nothing. You're goyim cattle. Okay? If fucking, daddy government is a giant, you are the shit in between his boot. You are a peon. You're not even a grug, because you can't even get a job when you're in this position. You have been stripped of any utility, any use. You're a stain. Your parents didn't want you. Society doesn't want you. The government doesn't want you. The people in here don't want you. You're fucking nothing, dude. And I make a point to, like, exclaim these things openly to everyone there, because the reality doesn't seem to sink in. People don't seem to quite understand, especially in this low position. They become very religious, and they think that there's some meaning to all this. They think that there's some worth, that they have inherent worth given to them from within. That, your worth doesn't come from without. You can have confidence, man. You can build yourself up, right? You can do the work. And you can treat others well, and you can be presentable and look well, and you can have skills, and you can be articulate, and you can have all these great ideas. But if there's no place for you in society, if your family doesn't see your worth, if your job doesn't see your worth, okay, if your quote-unquote community doesn't see your worth, I can go on and on and on. You don't have any fucking worth. Who cares what you feel like or think of yourself on the inside when you look in that mirror, okay? Who gives a lick? You do the old Johnny Bravo in the mirror. You're a joke. You are postponing the inevitable. It is a brutal reality. The black pill is not for the faint of heart. Being sober is not for the faint of heart. And exactly another reason why most people here in this very lowly and otherwise position are addicted to fucking vice. And I can relate. I've been there. But I'm also going to let these guys know that you guys don't have the fucking ball sack. You don't have the courage, the cojones to be sober. Okay, there's a lot of old fucks here, and they all want to sit here and say, oh man, it takes a lot of balls to be fucking old, you gotta be real strong and perseverance of mind in order to get old. I'm like, no you don't. You just have to be a pussy. You gotta be a fucking pussy. You don't got what it takes, right? The constitution of mind to end it. So you have to have this comforting lie, this delusion that, there's nobility in old age. No, there isn't. Especially since you've stagnated. Especially since you don't do you're not learning anything. You're not teaching anyone anything. You're not imparting anything of use. You're not even aware of the intergenerational differences. But I digress. I've just gotten to a point now where I am the black pill. The black pill has become my entire personality. And I don't care to listen to people. People will come to me and they'll ask me things and I'll tell them. But they'll try to then tell me their worldview and I'll listen, and then they'll be like, so what do you think? I don't care. I don't care. I think your worldview is stupid. And here's why. And I'll deconstruct it in 2 seconds. And I'll be like, oh, what about this? Oh, I'm like, I don't believe that. And since the only worth that these people get from without is from religion. So they come in and they preach and they sing their songs and they try to tell people that, God sees their worth. That, if they pray and they clean up their life, that there's going to be something for them. And I make sure to, again, vocalize openly that is a lie. That it applies only in the eternal sense. God does not give a crap about you right now. Your life ain't getting better. These people are lying to you. And honestly, if you really believed, you wouldn't be so afraid of death. You'd probably be longing for it. Because death is an escape. And so I've really come full circle. And I'm back to just being the black pill. It is my personality now. I can't escape it. I cannot run from it. I cannot be positive. I can't cope any other way than confronting reality, the brutal reality that we inhabit in early 2026. And let everyone know who asked me, okay? I'm not talking to people. I'm not seeking them out. But if they come to me and they candidly want to know what's on my mind or what I think about this or wherever the conversation segues, I'm going to be most brutally honest. And I don't care if people get offended. I don't care if it makes them feel like a worthless hunk of meat. You are. You are. Well, I am. There is no fucking use for me, dude. I am staying right now in a homeless shelter. The other option to me was a program right upstairs above the chapel. And I was, basically confronted by some of these old dudes. And they say, hey, with this big old cheeky grin on their face. Hey, we got, you want to be a part of this program? And I'm like, well, what's it about? Hey, come follow us. We'll tell you. Get upstairs, sit down. They give me this packet. I start filling it out. I realized at the end, it's like, wow, this is a rehab program. They want you to give up your phone. They want to lock you in a room. And then basically make you do slave labor and stuff to keep your mind occupied. And then they want you to basically endure 60% of your day of chapel and singing and counseling, all faith-based. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, is this really all there is, man? I got to sign up for a year-long rehab program because I need help, right? I just need help. I get to stay in a homeless shelter, surrounded by people with bed bugs, surrounded by fucking, schizos, literally people that should be in a psych ward, drug addicts, unstable, mommy issues, daddy issues, unresolved trauma, the works, the whole 9 yards. Or I get to just fucking pack my bag up and walk along a railroad track, use my compass and fucking try to navigate through the woods, hike a mountain. These are my options, dude. Because I am not getting a fucking job. I am not contributing to this system, this Marxist filth. I am not aiding and embedding any organization that is propping up this beast system. I don't want to help the Jews, okay? I don't want to help the gynocracy. I don't want to help the inferior. And there's a lot of inferior people. And it really has a lot to do with, as a good channel would say, collective dismal eugenic practices, or a lack thereof. No euthanasia, no sterilization, no, monogamy. Culture and tradition, gone, tainted, bastardized. Society and the amalgamation that it is in its current state being a fucking forgery, a fraud. Excess males from every sector, every nation in the world being brought here like they used to do in Australia, right? This is an open-air prison. And I'm supposed to sit here and delude myself and be a solution coper and get on substances only to fucking crash back down mentally and, lose that homeostasis. Yeah, being sober fucking blows, but we know what else blows? Having a topsy-turvy mind as you try to, escape reality. At least I got some level of stability of mind. At least my emotions are in check now, being sober. But it ain't for the faint of heart. And I will never stop telling people the truth about this realm. I'll never stop telling people how, honestly, self-exiting is really the only thing you can do. After, right, you get your worldview resolved. Really, ask those questions before you make such a drastic decision. And be persuaded fully in your mind, and also know within yourself, right, be comforted of what's going to happen after if you believe in anything. Don't just be hasty. But there's nothing left, dude. They don't call it Depop for no reason. You don't have a globalist regime like this that looks at its populace as nothing but numbers, as peons, as disposables, as carbon emitters, and think that you're going to somehow rally forces. I mean, I had this one deranged boomer come up to me, and he's like, he's kind of hitting the points. He's making sense, and he's telling me about the whole Social Security thing, how it's, it's an ID, how it's basically a way to, enslave the population, and how, basically due to, bonds and stuff from when they first colonized the Americas, you're actually worth millions of dollars, and you can have access to it by, utilizing the fiat banking system by going and developing an LLC and pulling from your Social Security. He's going into all this, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's just fucking a huge hassle. It's probably not going to happen before they off you anyways. And then he gets into the upcoming Civil War, right? It had some of the big proponents in media right now talking about how they're going to be wiping out 50 million or 500 million or whatever. Like, they're not even hiding it anymore. They've gone full mask off. They've gone full disclosure. And he's getting into, really what's going on is the Brexit, the EU is going after, right, and NATO is going after Trump because he decided to separate like they did with in Germany back in World War II, and it's going to be like this giant internal civil war, and you want to be on the side of Trump because Trump's going to, he's trying to basically reinstate the Constitution, and there's going to be all-out civil war from factions within the government and factions between political oppositions and factions between, the people and the populace and prejudice. And I'm just like, oh, wow, okay, yep. But he's hopeful. He's a hope-tard, thinking that, oh, man, Daddy Trump is going to be the one who's going to set things straight, and you want to be on the side of change. And you and I and everyone else, we can make it, bro. And I just had to walk away because it's drivel, man. It's drivel. You're marked for extinction. And if you're not marked for extinction, what kind of life are you looking forward to moving forward? It's not going to be anything worth aspiring to. not anything worth aspiring to. And philosophizing about futures or states of society or different combinations of government, it's mental masturbation that leads nowhere. I guess it's a good use of time if you've got all these ideas and you want to formulate your stance and your worldview, but ultimately there's no way of enacting any of this. None of us have power, right? We were not born into the aristocracy. We're not groomed for success. We have no fucking power. And you can sit there in your mind and think, oh, well, I was from this lineage or this genealogy, and I have rich ancestral ties to this and that, and I'm powerful. But ultimately, you're just coping. That's all it is, man. It's the copium tank. It's the hopium tank, right? Walking along with you like you're dependent upon it. Like if it were to somehow be, snipped, that little tube to your nostrils would be snipped, and you have to breathe in reality. The stench, the decay that is reality. You just keel over and die. That's how people are operating. I've never seen such an insistence on not being sober, on not confronting things head on not asking questions, and just, continually kicking the can to your own destruction. No, not taking a macroscopic stance on anything. Just being very surface level, very microscopic, very moment by moment, right? Oh yeah, I'm a fucking Buddhist Zen monk, and I'm gonna do the mantras, and I'm just gonna live moment by moment. I mean, it's all cult, man. It's all bullshit.